The Namibian Constitution, narrated by Applelight. Chapter 9, The Administration of Justice. Part 1. Article 78, The Judiciary. 1. The judicial power shall be vested in the courts of Namibia, which shall consist of a. A Supreme Court of Namibia, b. A High Court of Namibia, c. Lower Courts of Namibia. 2. The courts shall be independent and subject only to this Constitution and the law. 3. No member of the Cabinet or the Legislature or any other person shall interfere with judges or judicial officers in the exercise of their judicial functions, and all organs of the state shall accord such assistance as the courts may require to protect their independence, dignity, and effectiveness, subject to the terms of this Constitution or any other law. 4. The Supreme Court and the High Court shall have the inherent jurisdiction which vested in the Supreme Court of Southwest Africa immediately prior to the date of independence, including the power to regulate their own procedures and to make court rules for that purpose. 5. The financial and other administrative matters of the High Court and Supreme Court shall be performed in such a manner that the independence of the judiciary can be effectively and practically promoted and guaranteed by means of appropriate legislative and administrative measures. Open bracket. Subarticle 5 is inserted by the Namibian Constitution, 3rd Amendment Act 8 of 2014. Close bracket. 6. In accordance with the relevant laws, an accounting officer shall be designated who shall, subject to the direction and control of the Chief Justice, perform the functions of an accounting officer as head of the administration of the judiciary with the assistance of such other staff members designated from the public service for such purpose. Open bracket. Subarticle 6 is inserted by the Namibian Constitution, 3rd Amendment Act 8 of 2014. Close bracket. 7. The Chief Justice shall supervise the judiciary, exercise responsibility over the judiciary, and monitor the norms and standards for the exercise of the judicial functions of all courts. Open bracket. Subarticle 7 is inserted by the Namibian Constitution, 3rd Amendment Act 8 of 2014. Close bracket. Article 79. The Supreme Court. 1. The Supreme Court shall consist of a Chief Justice, a Deputy Chief Justice who shall deputize the Chief Justice in the performance of his or her functions under this Constitution or any other law, and such additional judges as the President, acting on the recommendation of the Judicial Service Commission, may determine. Open bracket. Subarticle 1 is amended by the Namibian Constitution, 3rd Amendment Act 8 of 2014. The amendment markings in Act 8 of 2014 are incorrect. Close bracket. 2. The Supreme Court shall be presided over by the Chief Justice and shall hear and adjudicate upon appeals emanating from High Court, including appeals which involve the interpretation, implementation, and upholding of this Constitution and the fundamental rights and freedoms guaranteed thereunder. The Supreme Court shall also deal with matters referred to it for decision by the Attorney General under this Constitution, and with such other matters as may be authorized by Act of Parliament. Open bracket. The word, quote, Constitution, close quote, in the phrase, quote, under this Constitution, close quote, is misspelt in the Government Gazette as reproduced above. Close bracket. 3. 3 judges shall constitute a quorum of the Supreme Court when it hears appeals or deals with matters referred to it by the Attorney General under this Constitution, provided that provision may be made by Act of Parliament for a lesser quorum in circumstances in which a judge seized of an appeal dies or becomes unable to act at any time prior to judgment. 4. The jurisdiction of the Supreme Court with regard to appeals shall be determined by Act of Parliament. Article 80. The High Court. The High Court shall consist of a Judge President, who shall be the Deputy Chief Justice referred to in Article 79, 1 hereof, and an ex officio judge of the Supreme Court, such deputy judges president, and such additional judges as the president, acting on the recommendation of the Judicial Service Commission, may determine. Open bracket. Subarticle 1 is substituted by the Namibian Constitution, 3rd Amendment Act 8 of 2014. Close bracket. 2. The High Court shall have original jurisdiction to hear and adjudicate upon all civil disputes and criminal prosecutions, including cases which involve the interpretation, implementation, and upholding of this Constitution and the fundamental rights and freedoms guaranteed thereunder. The High Court shall also have jurisdiction to hear and adjudicate upon appeals from lower courts. 3. The jurisdiction of the High Court with regard to appeals shall be determined by Act of Parliament. Article 81. Binding nature of decisions of the Supreme Court. A decision of the Supreme Court shall be binding on all other courts of Namibia and all persons in Namibia unless it is reversed by the Supreme Court itself or is contradicted by an Act of Parliament lawfully enacted. Article 82. Appointment of Judges. 1. All appointments of judges to the Supreme Court and the High Court shall be made by the President on the recommendation of the Judicial Service Commission, and upon appointment, judges shall make an oath or affirmation of office in the terms set out in Schedule 1 hereof. 2. At the request of the Chief Justice, the President may appoint acting judges of the Supreme Court to fill casual vacancies in the court from time to time, or as ad hoc appointments to sit in cases involving constitutional issues or the guarantee of fundamental rights and freedoms, if in the opinion of the Chief Justice it is desirable that such persons should be appointed to hear such cases by reason of their special knowledge of or expertise in such matters. 3. At the request of the Judge President, the President may appoint acting judges of the High Court from time to time to fill casual vacancies in the court, or to enable the court to deal expeditiously with its work. 4. All judges, except acting judges, appointed under this Constitution, shall hold office until the age of 65, but the President shall be entitled to extend the retiring age of any judge to 70, provided that non-Namibian citizens are appointed as judges under a fixed-term contract of employment. Open bracket. Subarticle 4 is amended by the Namibian Constitution, 2nd Amendment Act 7 of 2010. Close bracket. That is all for Part 1 of Chapter 9 of the Namibian Constitution. If you found this video informative or useful, make sure to like and share, and of course subscribe to the channel so that you are notified every time a new part or chapter is uploaded. Until the next one.